morning, Book Dragons. It's Barbie with the Collier County Public Library, and I'm here again at the Vanderbilt Beach Library. Today we're going to celebrate April, which is National Poetry Month. Please remember that all the items I mentioned today are available through our website, collierlibrary.org, so check us out. Do you have your elixir of life? Do you have your mug of coffee? Well, I am still recovering from the reaction I received when I mentioned that I wanted to do a video this month celebrating poets as writers. Apparently, there is a large segment of our population that still has troubling memories of being in school and reciting Shakespeare or Dante or something and needing extensive therapy afterwards. Well, that's not this program. This program is about 5 poets who write fiction that grapples with big questions and pays careful attention to emotional truth. I'm going to start today with Giovannis Room by James Baldwin. It is set in Paris in the 1950s. This novel explores desire and identity in a time, of course, that followed convention at all costs. And it's a sad reminder that sometimes we will forego a relationship out of fear or fear of judgment. I love James Baldwin. Did you know that besides being a well-known author and a poet, he also was a razor-sharp film critic? Next we have Coming Through Slaughter by Michael Ondaatje, who you might be familiar with. He wrote a book called The English Patient, which was then turned into a gorgeous film that was quite popular. But not a lot of people know about this book, this beautiful, wicked little book. Very little is known about Buddy Bolden, this great New Orleans trumpet player that the book is about. But I promise you that when you read this book, you will hear the music and smell that distinctive New Orleans aroma of crayfish and sweat. Next we have Fugitive Pieces by Anne Michaels. This is the story of Jacob Beer, a poet, and his life is the lens that we view the death of 6 million others. But to say that this book is about the Holocaust is true, but it's about much more than that. It is a great canyon of a book with many, many layers. And it contains one of my favorite descriptions of all time. Let's see if I can get this. Beer is observing the premature birth of a baby, and he is sure that he can see the faint stain of a soul, for it was not yet a self, caught in that almost transparent body. Isn't that lovely? Next we have The Innocence by Michael Crummy. This book was inspired by a one-paragraph story the author located in an archive. It is set in the 1800s, and we have Ada and Everett, a young brother and sister left alone on an isolated Newfoundland cove after their parents die from an illness. The novel is the story of their survival, and I do mean survival. We're talking brutal winters, little food, angry sea, and it's an introspective book, and it asks the reader, how do we decide what part of a culture survives, and how far have we become removed from the natural world? And my last book for you today, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, which is almost a poem in itself. This book is a letter written by a young man named Little Dog to his illiterate mother, and it brings into sharp focus a segment of our world that we rarely see in best-selling fiction, the working poor. Pick this book up. It is amazing. That's what I have for you today. remember, poetry and writing is a conversation. It's a conversation a poet or writer is trying to have with you. And when you close off a conversation without listening, you lose your empathy. And with it, you lose your source of wonder and the great things in life, like inspiration and creativity and words. I'm going to leave you today with some wise words from Lawrence Ferlinghetti, a poet and publisher and defender of challenged words, who will always be a hero of mine. He died recently. But remember these words. Poetry is eternal graffiti, written in the heart of everyone. Thank you.